Fat people do not need to worry about strength training. If you are starting your GLP-1 journey with a significant amount of weight to lose, I have a good news for you in this video. If you're new here, I'm Megan. I've lost 125 pounds using compounded tirzepatide. I started in August 2023 weighing 243 pounds, and I've been maintaining my weight right around 118 pounds for over a year now with a weekly maintenance shot. Now, let me get my disclaimers out of the way. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a personal trainer. I have zero expertise, but what I have to share is my own personal experience and some good old-fashioned common sense. So here's the truth that nobody says out loud. When you're living in a bigger body, and I'm talking about a bigger body, you can see the kind of body that I was walking around in. Living in a body like this takes a lot of work. You actually have to build up a lot of muscle to support this supersized body living in this world. Living in that bigger body is strength training. You've been building muscle as you've been gaining weight. It's like walking around with your own permanent weighted vest. So when you start your weight loss journey, and you're listening to all the advice out there and you hear everybody talking about needing to start strength training, you can rest assured that you have been doing it. You're not starting from zero. You've already put in the work to start building muscle. It's in there. When you start on a weight loss journey, especially when you are using a GLP-1, there are so many things that you are starting to think about. If you're anything like me, a GLP-1 gets inside your body and in your brain, you'll be able to tell that things are a little bit different. You're getting used to operating in the world in this new way, that you're getting used to what life is like without food noise. You might be getting used to what it's like to eat food and feel satisfied, to be able to make decisions about food that fuel your body and nourish your body instead of just eating for comfort. So when you're starting on this journey, you have a lot to think about and a lot to deal with. You're dealing with side effects and learning how to make sure that you're on the correct dose, working with your doctor to make sure that you're on the right medication. There's a lot of things going on. And for a lot of us, especially those of us who have let's say 100 pounds or more to lose. While I do think the advice that people are giving to start strength training is well-intentioned advice, I think it disregards the big glaring fact that those of us who have a ton of weight to lose can barely get through the day. We're dealing with all sorts of limitations. I know when I weighed 243 pounds at 5'4", I couldn't even put on my own shoes and tie them. I had to go out and find shoes that were slip-ons because there was no way that I could tie my own shoes. That's kind of a minor limitation that I could find my way around, but there are all sorts of other limitations that people are dealing with. And these can be things like joint pain and aches and strains and back pain and being in a wheelchair. We're all dealing with all sorts of different things. So blanket advice like you have to strength train or your muscle is going to waste away is not really going to work for all of us. What I want to share today in this video is kind of the approach that I took to it. And as you can see, my muscle did not waste away. I actually do have muscle. I am fit, muscular. I have an athletic build now. I do strength train and I do believe in strength training. I just don't think that it's something we all have to start immediately when we start on a weight loss journey on a GLP-1. For those of us who have a lot of weight to lose, the most important thing is to start getting the pounds off. I know you'll hear all sorts of people saying that the scale is not that important and the number on the scale doesn't really matter. But let me tell you, the number on the scale is telling you the honest truth. If the number on the scale is going down, you're losing weight, and that means you're on the right track. If it's not going down, there are probably some things that you need to be looking at in your life, and I promise you, increasing your strength training is not one of the things that's going to affect the scale. Let's dig into that a little bit more. I did a strength training workout this morning. It was about 30 minutes long. I was really working my muscles. I sweat so much I had to take a shower afterward. I use an Apple Watch. These are not super scientifically calibrated, and there is a lot of variations that go with the measurements that it takes. But I do have my watch set to my age, my weight, my height, that I'm a female. So it does a pretty good job of telling me about the amount of energy that I'm expending when I'm doing a workout. I use it mostly just to track my workouts so that I can know how many steps I'm taking and how long I'm working out each day. But it also does track how many calories you're burning. So in my 30-minute strength training workout where I got really hot and sweaty this morning, I burned 69 calories. Let me tell you, that is not even a slice of keto bread. So if you think you're gonna go do strength training and that is going to make the difference and start budging the number on the scale, I am sorry to inform you that you have been mistaken and misled. Strength training has a lot of benefits. It's an amazing tool to make sure that you are building and maintaining your muscle, which we know that as we get older, you do lose muscle every year that you age, and it's very hard to get it back, but it's not going to help you lose weight. Weight loss is almost entirely about what you eat. It's about the food that is going in your mouth. And here's another thing about exercise. I don't know if you have ever experienced this, but I definitely have, that when I'm working out, especially if I'm doing like vigorous exercise, if I'm trying to really lift some weight with strength training, or if I'm going out running, I am hungrier. I want to eat more. My body is telling me it needs more fuel to fuel the workouts that I'm doing. When you're on a weight loss journey, the deciding factor in whether you lose weight is whether you are eating fewer calories than you are burning. You need to be eating in a calorie deficit. So working out vigorously, where your body wants to eat more calories, is counterproductive to the end goal of losing weight. That's not to say that it's impossible and that it cannot be done, that you can't build muscle and lose weight at the same time. I definitely think that can happen, and I have experienced that myself. Once I had lost 100 pounds, I got really serious about working out. I started working out, doing strength training really vigorously 5-6 days a week. During the 6 months that I was really focused on building muscle and strength training, I lost an additional 25 pounds. But during that time, I was super focused on also eating in a way that maintained my nutrition goals and allowed me to continue to lose some weight while building muscle. That meant that I was really dialed in on the amount of calories that I was eating, and that the portion of those calories that came from protein was pretty high. So the good news for you, if you're starting on a weight loss journey with a lot of extra weight on you, just know that you have muscle under there. If you really want to know how much muscle you have, you can go get a DEXA scan. I have gotten several, and it provides a lot of really great information. You get information about what the composition of your body is, and you can use that as kind of a tracking point. There are also really great smart scales out there that can tell you about the composition of your body. I have a super cheap $20 Renpho scale, and while it is not the most accurate scale out there, it does the job. I can track directionally whether I am maintaining, losing, or gaining muscle. I don't really care exactly what the percentage says, but I do have DEXA scans that I compare with my Renpho, and the amount of muscle is pretty spot on my DEXA scan. So I can look at the muscle mass that my smart scale tells me, and I can know, again, whether I'm maintaining, building, or losing muscle. I do think preserving the muscle you have is super important. As you age, that muscle goes away, and on a GLP-1, a lot of people are losing weight fairly quickly. I know for me, there were some weeks where I lost 3 or 4 pounds. Now, average weight loss on a GLP-1 is going to be 0.5 pound to 2 pounds a week, and if you are within that range, that is great. You are doing an awesome job. On any weight loss journey, we are eating fewer calories so that we can see that number on the scale go down and see our weight decrease. But that doesn't mean we're starving ourselves and that we're not eating enough to maintain the muscle that we have. So it is really important to make sure that you're getting enough calories and that you actually are eating in a way that supports that muscle that you built while you were gaining weight or living in a bigger body. How do we make sure that we're maintaining that muscle? We can make sure that we're eating enough protein. I know this doesn't happen to everybody, but my appetite was absolutely really suppressed, especially when I first started on a GLP-1, I had to be really conscious, which meant that I was choosing items that had a focus on protein. So a lot of my meals were either a protein shake. I use health code protein powder and I love the taste of it. It's delicious. It's actually a full meal replacement, not just a protein shake. I also love the Fairlife Nutrition Plan 30-gram protein chocolate shakes from Costco. They are really yummy too, but they're about 150 calories and they're kind of what I would call like a snack. But the health code protein powder is a full meal. It includes not just the protein, but healthy fats also. It has coconut oil and macadamia nuts and all sorts of good things that are going to help me feel satisfied and feel full and get the nutrition that I need in a small amount of volume, because that's all I could handle at the very beginning. Nowadays, I still use my health code protein powder, even though I eat pretty much like a normal person after being on a GLP-1 for over 2 years. But I always follow up my strength training workouts with a health code shake because I want that dose of protein to get into my muscles. In addition to getting the proper nutrition, the other thing that you can be focused on instead of worrying about strength training is just moving in your daily life. Just increasing the natural movement that you get throughout the day. This could be as simple as walking to a bathroom that is further away from the normal one that you go to in your house. This could be carrying laundry in a basket over to the washer and dryer where you normally would have taken it piece by piece. The other day I was helping my husband disassemble a bunk bed. We're doing a little room swap in my kids' rooms and I was carrying all the pieces down the stairs. And he made a comment that I would have never been able to do that before. And that's true because I just wouldn't have had the strength to be able to pick those things up. I wouldn't have had the stamina to go up and down the stairs. I could barely go up in the stairs without carrying anything, without my knees hurting or being out of breath. So just finding ways to incorporate movement into your daily life, just living, those are the kinds of things that you can focus on that will continue to use your body because you already built that muscle and you have it inside. We're going to use it so we don't lose it. And then once you continue to lose weight, and really when you have a lot of weight to lose, even just 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds feels life-changing. When I got 30 pounds down, I felt so much lighter. I had a list on my phone of the things that plagued me as being somebody who was morbidly obese. These were things like waking up in the morning and feeling an ache, a deep ache in the bones of my feet. As soon as I stepped out of bed, I would feel that ache in my feet. These were things like not being able to walk down the stairs without holding onto the railing and putting all of my weight on the railing and going one step with one foot at a time. And when I got 30 pounds down, so many of those things were already gone. I was still over 200 pounds as a woman who's 5'4", but I was feeling so much lighter and the physical weight of obesity was just lifting little by little. And that was allowing me to do more and more in my daily life. And I finally got to a point, and it didn't take long. It took probably until I was about 200 pounds when I felt like, oh, I can incorporate strength training. I had the energy in me. I wasn't aching everywhere in my body just from living. And I had already spent a few months really focused on figuring out how I was going to start changing my life when it came to how I was eating and the food that I was choosing to cook for my family and the habits that I needed to build to maintain this new healthy lifestyle. Once I had already done those things and I was feeling really good in my body, then I turned to strength training. I started out doing strength training 3 days a week for about 20 minutes at a time. That's all I can handle, and it was the perfect amount to ease me into the idea of strength training. Just like anything, it takes time to build a habit and get your body used to something. And those 20 minutes, they weren't really building muscle for me. Again, it was just a way to maintain the muscle that I already had built by being over 100 pounds pounds overweight. But anytime you can do something like strength training and do it consistently and start to build those habits, I think that is a good thing. And I started small. I didn't start with this huge goal of going to do an hour, 5 days a week or something like that. Because honestly, I probably wouldn't have been able to walk afterward. If you haven't done squats in a long time and you go to a bunch of squats, I promise you, you're gonna have a hard time getting off of the toilet the next day. So I wanted to approach strength training in the same way that I approach the rest of my weight loss journey, doing small things consistently so that I can build habits that can stack over time until I get to a whole new life. And that's kind of where I am now, that I strength train 4 to 6 days a week. I don't do the same muscle groups every single day or back to back. I'm rotating what I'm doing, and I'm building muscle and maintaining muscle in a way that I enjoy it. It's actually, dare I say, fun. And I was never somebody who enjoyed the gym. I was never somebody who liked working out. It's actually become a really fun, like, creative outlet for me, or a challenge for me. Whereas before, when I started on this weight loss journey, I was putting so much time and effort into the weight loss portion of this journey, where I was doing everything I could and putting every ounce of my energy into maximizing my weight loss, which mostly meant figuring out what I was eating and making sure that my nutrition was on point. Once I had lost that first 100 pounds, it kind of made me sad to think about where I was going from there. That I knew I didn't have to put so much energy into the weight loss, but I didn't know where to put that energy. I'm a stay-at-home homeschool mom. I have 3 kids and I do a lot with my kids, and I love being a mom. But I need more than that. I wanted to make sure that I had more in my life to look forward to than just dishes and laundry. And that's where strength training and working out really became an outlet for me, where I get to have fun improving my body. And it's really cool to see the outward effect of the effort that you're putting in. And again, I'm not a personal trainer. I have zero knowledge. My husband actually was a personal trainer, and he does give me tips from time to time, but I pretty much did this by myself. I do have a tonal home gym, and it is a smart gym, which it does help me make sure that my form is pretty good. But for the most part, I have no idea if I'm doing this stuff right. I am just doing the best I can. If my program says do deadlifts, I do deadlifts. If the program says do bench press, I do bench press. And I pretty much just do what it says without a ton of thought or effort put into it. I am just pushing play 4 to 6 days a week, and I'm really happy with the results that I've gotten. As I said, I did get DEXA scans kind of throughout my journey, and I will say that I did lose a lot of muscle. It was mostly after I lost that first 100 pounds. During that first 100-pound weight loss, I didn't lose a lot of muscle because I was eating in a way that was maintaining my muscle. After I lost that first 100 pounds, I was at the top end of a healthy weight for my height, which I'm 5'4", and the top end is 145 pounds. I was 145 pounds and I wanted to lose a little bit more. It was when I lost that last 25 pounds that I lost the most muscle. And I think that is a cautionary tale for some people, that I think when you have a lot of weight on you, you can rest assured that you've got muscle inside to support that. But if you do not have a lot of extra weight, or if you've gotten to the point in your journey where you are living life in a smaller body, that is when you do have to be concerned about losing muscle, and make sure that you're doing things to continue to build muscle and maintain the muscle that you already have. That might be when it's a good idea to either go get a DEXA scan, consult with a personal trainer, talk to your doctor about your muscle mass to make sure that you're on the right track and that you know what you're doing so that you can be living your very best life for years to come. So to wrap it up, as always, my message is pretty much the same. We're going to continue to do small things daily to support our weight loss journey and our maintenance journey, to make sure that we're living our very best life. We're going to eat enough protein. We're going to move our bodies throughout the day in natural ways. We're going to be lifting things and reaching and stretching. We're going to be out walking and getting movement in ways that feel good for our body. When you have the brain space and the time and the energy to do it, yes, yes, turn to strength training to help you maintain and build more muscle, because muscle is essential and it's what is going to help keep us strong for years to come. So now I want to hear from you. Tell me, did you start strength training right away? Was it a priority for you, or was it something that you put off until later? Is it something that you feel guilt about, like you should be doing and you're not? Tell me all the thoughts about strength training, and you are totally welcome to tell me that I'm wrong and argue your case for why you think strength training should be a priority for everyone from the very beginning. I think for me and a lot of people like me who were over 100 pounds overweight and starting from a place that was so hard, being able to focus on losing weight first and then focus on strength training down the line when it makes more sense in our life is really freeing. It's an awesome feeling to feel like you are not failing, that you're not doing it the wrong way, and that you can be healthy and you can find success even if you're not doing what everybody says you should be doing. All right, thanks so much for watching today. If this resonated with you, I hope you will take a minute to like, subscribe to my channel, and comment on this video and let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much.